Welcome, Tuesday time, week 22. Oh my gosh, we have good words this week. We do every week. I know. I say it every week because it's always true. This week we have boisterous, decorum, embargo, impertinent, jaunty, marsupial, everyone's favorite word, masticate, recede, tariff, and undulate. And we also have a pretty good word, idiom of the week. But let's get started with the words. So, first is boisterous. Now, boisterous is an adjective, so it's describing behavior usually, right? It can also be used to describe a person who engages in this behavior or even an event that has this kind of mood about it. It's noisy, it's energetic, and it's rowdy. It's also usually pretty fun, right? If it's boisterous, everyone's having a good time, it's wound up, it's excited. Now, Ms. Douglas has put in here synonyms. Synonyms are words that mean basically the same thing, but not exactly the same. As we've talked about before with connotation and denotation, even if the denotation is exactly the same, the connotation will be a little bit different. But either way, we've got lively, animated, exuberant, spirited, rowdy, unruly. So now this is one of those. Unruly has a negative connotation, so it's not really quite the same as boisterous. Wild, that means kind of out of control. Uproarious, it has humor added to it. Unrestrained, it's kind of like out of control as well, or like they've been restrained and now they're letting go of those things. Now, an antonym is a word that means essentially the opposite. So restrained or quiet would be the antonyms, or the opposite. All right, now we've got decorum. Decorum's a noun. It's a behavior. Someone has this, but it's almost used like an adjective in a funny way. If you have decorum, then you behave in a way that has good taste and is mannered, and you just kind of act in the proper way, all right? You have propriety. You know how you're supposed to be in any given situation. Now, synonyms for this include propriety, seemliness. If something's seemly, it's kind of as it's supposed to be. It looks decent. And there's decency, good taste, correctness, politeness, courtesy, good manners, on and on. Now, impropriety would be decorum. Would be the opposite. Would be the antonym of decorum. Okay. Embargo. An embargo is a noun. Now, this is something you see pretty much exclusively in politics, but you could use it more metaphorically. An embargo is a noun. It's a ban on trade or other commercial activity with a particular country. We just, in the last 18 months, ended an embargo with Cuba. We made it so other westernized countries, and more specifically us, people were not allowed to do business with Cuba. We didn't like them because they were communists and they were right next to us. And this is all a product of the Cuban Missile Crisis back in the 60s. So, but we no longer have an embargo. Now you can go as a tourist and you can spend money in Cuba, which you couldn't do before. North Korea still has an embargo on it. Also communist, but far more dangerous than Cuba has been for a very long time. All right, impertinent. This is an adjective. If someone's impertinent, they don't show you the proper respect. They're rude, right? There are a bunch of synonyms on this, right? Someone who's impertinent just is a little standoffish and they're disrespectful. You've seen students do this to teachers. You've seen teachers do this to students. Now, an antonym, the opposite of this would be polite. Jaunty. Oh, I love this one. I like this gift that Miss Douglas put on here, too. That is a jaunty walk. It's an adjective. Now, it's almost always always used to describe motions or actions. It's an action that has like a lively, cheerful, self-confident kind of manner. Doop-a-doo. You're feeling good about yourself and you're feeling confident. You have a jaunty walk. You kind of swing your shoulders and you move your hips and you just walk like things are pretty good. You can have a jaunty angle of your hat. You know, this is kind of back in the day when men would wear fedoras, things of that nature. You'd have a little bit of an angle, kind of a jaunty, playful, look at me kind of angle. All right, marsupials, these are nouns, but they're animals. It's a mammal who's unlike other mammals. Marsupials have babies that aren't completely developed. It's not like they're being hatched out of eggs exactly, but they're not like ready to go run around like elephants and deer, okay? Oh, sorry, it's my oven warming up. Instead, marsupials have a pouch. The mother marsupials have a pouch that the newly born babies live in for a really long time. They're carried in there, and they suckle in there and grow. So we're talking about kangaroos, koalas, things like that. Marsupials have just these little tiny pouches on. Wait, are koalas? Oh man, I might have lied. I know kangaroos definitely are. Possums in the United States, we have those. Or opossums. It's spelled opossum. I know. But I've never met someone who pronounces it that way. And you'll see it spelled without the O at the beginning. You'll see just P-O-S-S-U-M. But you'll also see O-P-S-S-U-M. And those are still, I don't know, that's confusing. I wish I hadn't started on this. But here we go. Masticate. It's a verb. It's to chew or to grind. It's pretty much always used if you're saying that you are masticating something, I'm talking about chewing it up, okay? We made plenty of jokes about this last time I taught this word. But something else can be masticated too. Anything that's ground down. If you have a mortar and pestle, which is like a stick and a bowl, and you are grinding up food, you are masticating it. Even though you're not chewing it with your mouth, you're grinding it up. You could have anything that grinds down something else is masticating it, okay? To recede is a verb. It's to go or to move back or away from where you were before. Now, it's almost always physical. To recede is to fall backward in your position. But in theory, you could have this used in a non-physical fashion. An idea could recede from your mind, but that would mean that it's really more fading than moving back. All right, a tariff. This is a noun. We're going to be talking a lot about tariffs in contemporary politics. The current administration is talking about putting tariffs on foreign goods so that American goods can compete with them more. Now, how that works is we put a tax or a duty on top of the cost of something that's been imported to the United States. So if, say, China is sending a TV, if you want to buy that TV, you end up paying more than the Chinese intended to charge for it. They want to charge, let's say, $10. You have to pay $15. This is so that other things can be more competitive. TVs that are made in the United States, for instance. I don't know how you're getting a TV for $15, but you know, that's what it is. Now, tariffs are really important in American history. Governments throughout time have used tariffs to raise more money. It's an additional elective tax, essentially. But it's not elective to the people who are buying it if it's something that they have to buy. This is why the American Revolution was partly started off by tea, because there were tariffs and taxes on tea, and the Americans did not like that very much. The crown, the English, were using that to fill their coffers, get more money. So we felt like we were being charged more for things we shouldn't be charged more for, and that's a big part of why none of us are speaking with an English accent right now. All right, undulate. Undulate's a verb. It's to move with a smooth wave-like motion. If it undulates softly in the wind or in the water, like the sides of this squid. Undulating is a very relaxing kind of thing to look at. It's not a violent motion, it's a real peaceful motion. So those are the words. Here's the idiom of the week. To carry the torch for someone. Now if you carry a torch for someone, that means you have strong feelings for them even if you're not in a relationship with them, okay? Especially if you're not, or if you cannot have one. If you're in a relationship with them, you don't carry a torch for them. You're in the relationship. But, there it is. Now, Miss Douglas put in, I've been carrying the torch for Gerard Butler since I saw him in, well, she wrote The 300. I think it's just called 300. So we're learning a lot about Miss Douglas here. She refers to 300 as The 300, and she has a thing for Gerard Butler. So, you know, good to know. All right. Well, that's it. That's all of them. Good luck. Take it easy.